Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
We're learning new information about a shooting in northeast Sioux Falls we first told you about over the weekend.
Officers responded to a report of a gunshot at an apartment complex in the 900 block of Northcliffe Avenue just after 4:30 Saturday morning. Police have since confirmed to KELOLAND News that shots were fired, but there were no injuries. We don't know yet if anyone was arrested in connection with the shooting.
We're hoping to learn more information about the investigation during this morning's police briefing, which we will live stream on KELOLAND.com beginning at 10:30.
An 83-year-old woman has died in a head-on crash involving a boat that disconnected from a pickup truck in western South Dakota. It happened Friday morning on South Dakota Highway 79 north of Sturgis. Investigators say the trailer carrying the boat unhitched from the pickup pulling it and crashed into the woman's car. The trailer, the boat, and the car all ended up in the ditch.
The owners of a home goods store in T are currently piecing back together their storefront after an unexpected jolt Saturday afternoon. A car crashed into Down Home by DeBoers. No furniture was destroyed, and T Fire Assistant Chief Bob Vennard said there were no injuries to the driver. Down Home by DeBoers said to check their social media for when they plan to reopen. Now let's get a check of the weather with meteorologist Scott Munn, starting the day with some rain and storms in many parts of KELOLAND, Scott.
And it looks like we may end the day with some of that into western, central, and northern South Dakota with developing thunderstorms, I would say late today for those areas. And we'll see how long these morning showers and thunderstorms last in eastern and southeastern KELOLAND. Some may spill over into the afternoon hours. The chances of redeveloping thunderstorms will have to be watched as well for eastern and southeastern KELOLAND late this evening. But keep in mind, periods of heavy rain will continue in eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa as we go through the morning and into the early part of the afternoon. More details on your forecast with Brian coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Construction of a new concrete spillway will begin at Lake Alvin next month. The project addresses damages to the current spillway from heavy rains in 2019. Crews will start to drain water from the lake on July 15th. One visitor we spoke with says it will benefit the lake in the long run.
It'd be a good idea because it dries up over there quite a bit, so it'd help out the fish, I think, because I go down there and catch fish, so sometimes it's too dry to catch fish.
The contractor in charge of the project hopes the spillway will be complete by the spring of 2025. More details on the project that will soon start to lower the water levels of Lake Alvin can be found in this story right here on KELOLAND.com.
People across KELOLAND took time to thank their fathers on Sunday. Some families traveled to Lake Alvin in Lincoln County to relax and celebrate dads that had an impact on their lives.
My father figure was my uncle. He passed away quite a few years back, but he was the one that kind of got me onto the fishing, and I didn't really have a dad to teach me the fishing stuff, so he kind of took over that.
Herman also said that his kids are his world and that he would not be where he is without them.
The U.S. Youth Soccer Midwest President's Cup Tournament in Sioux Falls has brought in a lot of people. Volunteers at Yankton Trail Park are working to make parking a smooth process and get fans to their respective games.
I feel like it's set up a little more better than the other ones, and there's signs for the fields and all that stuff.
The soccer tournament at Yankton Trail Park will wrap up tomorrow. And that's a look at some of our top stories. Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, a lot of water there at Falls Park, and rain totals across the city of Sioux Falls as of 7 a.m. I would say 1.5 inches is kind of a middle ground number. We've got a few neighborhoods that are a little bit more than that. North side of town's a little bit under that, but even Brandon, we're getting a couple of 2-inch rain totals there. So be aware of that. And we're not done either. We've got more development on radar occurring and the possibility that We could even see a couple of severe thunderstorms yet this morning around Sioux Falls. We're watching a boundary that's coming north. So basically what the Storm Prediction Center has done is they're accounting for some of that in this area. And then there's a separate low pressure center coming up out of Colorado. Later today, there's a chance of severe weather in western Nebraska. There'll be other storms that'll try to fire up in central South Dakota. And that threat looks like that's mainly probably toward dark tonight or even midnight or after. And then that would be a complex that would roll toward eastern North Dakota. It's all kind of because of these boundaries. There's one of them, a warm front that's trying to lift north. Our assumption today for Sioux Falls, we're going to try to lift that temperature up to 84. Now that's going to hinge on these thunderstorms, and you can see our latest projection on Futurecast at noon is still trying to develop quite a few showers and storms around. So until we clear the decks of that, we're not going to be 84 yet. We're going to be a lot cooler than that. Brookings, look at that difference. It's in the 50s to near 60. Meanwhile, I could see Yankton and Vermilion probably 85 to 90 this afternoon based on some new data as of 7 a.m. this morning. Now, there's your main low coming up out of Hot Springs in southwest South Dakota. We do think that that feature will help to trigger storms around Phillip and Pierre and Mobridge. Again, the time noted there, that's 11 o'clock tonight. Sioux Falls should probably get into a lull. If we just get into this warm sector during the overnight period, I would see our rain chances maybe not zero, but it's lower as dictated here. But then watch that frontal system. Now you'll notice it's between Chamberlain and Mitchell early Tuesday morning, but then it tries to get closer to Sioux Falls during the afternoon. The question is, how fast will the front go and when will those storms fire up along that front? The Storm Prediction Center has put out a new day 2 outlook for that. It's definitely more aggressive on the Iowa and Minnesota side of the border, but I would still put the jury is still out on that one as far as Sioux Falls is concerned. So that's why the Storm Prediction Center has maintained that outlook, which is actually Yankton, Sioux Falls, Marshall, on the risk of some severe weather. So just keep your Storm Tracker app handy. We'll be updating the forecast today. Notice your difference on temperature. I do agree with Brookings, Marshall being a lot cooler than folks south of I-90 this afternoon. And again, these locally heavy thunderstorms can really pound away at some rain totals. So we got to keep watching that here this morning into the early afternoon. I would advertise those storm chances around Pierre tonight. Again, that's mainly a large hail threat because it's not very warm there. It'll be in the upper 50s, low 60s. Tomorrow we'll hit the 80s in the southeast, and then we'll fire up that new line of storms. I would basically say I-29 east. It's kind of a generic way to think of that Tuesday afternoon. How about Wednesday? Well, we're down to a 30% chance of rain, and it looks like most of that will slide south of us. And then by Thursday and Friday, well, yeah, another system to watch here. By Friday and Saturday, another good chance of thunderstorms. Well, it's a busy forecast. We've got you covered, though. We've got more details with the weather online at KENNELLAND.com.